The Do This podcast is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network. Join hosts Bob Stewart and Chad Hyams as they talk with Tina Branine, a seasoned real estate expert from Kansas City. Tina discusses overcoming personal health challenges, the power of setting boundaries, and how rebranding her team led to sustainable success. This episode dives into the importance of leveraging systems and empowering team members for growth. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Do This podcast, presented by Brivity.
I had to start this, Chad, because I
knew you did.
I think you just took a shot at me. Tina, was that a shot? Did he take a shot? Chad, I was commenting on his purple fancy shirt.
It's
and
blue.
He said, blue? Okay, I'm colorblind. And Chad said, I wear this because I have a personality. And I took that to mean the black every single day is no personality. No, that wasn't what
I did not take that as a shot at you. I figured you started because I mentioned I wear this to the pickleball court to show my personality. And I figured you were like, oh, crap, he's going to talk pickleball. We got to get going.
Tina, okay, enough of this. Hi, Tina.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for joining us today. Do me a favor. Can you introduce yourself to the audience so that we kind of know who we're going to have a chance to spend the next half hour with?
Absolutely. So thank you for having me. I'm Tina Branine, operator of the Elevated Home Team out of Kansas City. I've been in real estate for 26 years. We are success built around our relationships, client engagement, client events, that type of thing. So joined Place, really launched in May of 2025 and loving all the tools and systems. So excited to talk about that.
Cool. Let's go back a little bit, though, before we kind of talk about what your team looks like today. And at one point, you had a really big team, all built around you. And kind of, can you share that part of your journey a little bit with us and help us realize like bigger is not always better, maybe?
Absolutely. Yeah. So that is definitely part of my journey. So I started out, had a really large team and I had a small team and then built it out. I knew I wanted to have more of a mega team. So in 2014, started building that. And then from 2015 to 2019 had a very large team doing, back then we were about 1.5 million GCI, 1.7. I know there's a lot larger teams than that, but for us, it was large. So we had 8 agent partners and then had 4 staff. And we were perking right along. So, but to your point, the problem is that when I launched this team and built it, I built it with me in the center. And
what does that mean? You were the listing agent. You were making
everything.
Way too many decisions. Okay, you were everything. Okay.
I was the top producing agent. I was the director of sales. I had a director of operations, but I was in her business all day long, every day. I had a listing coordinator, again, running all that. So it was very Tina-centric. It was even called the Tina team at that time. We've rebranded since then. And it was a lot of pressure and a lot of stress. And what happened is we had a really great year in beginning of 2019. We were really going in strong, had our best team ever. And then I developed a stress-induced autoimmune. And I woke up one day and I couldn't move. It was the scariest thing that's ever happened. I literally couldn't lift my arms or my legs. They just felt like they were immovable. And then started my journey of trying to figure out what was wrong with me. So for a very long time, I didn't know what was wrong with me. So I'd go in the office and work and shut my door and pretend like I had a meeting and lay on the floor and take a nap in the middle of the day. That was like the only way that I could make it through a day. And I'm still trying to lead this entire team. But with the way that I had it set up just around me, and I'm sure there's some other operators that can relate to this, that it without me, kind of everything just fell apart. And that's what happened. I basically couldn't do it because without me at the helm, things weren't running well. Things were falling apart. So the worst day of my life, I came in and I let everybody go except for my director of operations and one agent. So we became a team of 3 at that point. And then I started on kind of my health journey.
Chad, you look like you had a couple places in there you wanted to ask a question.
No, there was one question I wanted to ask, but Tina covered it. I was going to be like, how were you smart enough to make the team all about you, yet not name it where you were locked into yours? You said you did. It was a full rebrand you had to do. I'd love to just take a minute if we could and talk about the power of rebranding and the challenges of rebranding, because everybody's used to knowing you as this. Now, all of a sudden it's that. I don't know if you changed logo. I don't know if you changed color schemes. I don't know what. Can you take a minute before we go on to everything else and all the tools and just talk about the rebranding challenges and benefits? Because there's a lot of people out there who are running the me team, right? Or just me business. And when they start expanding, they understand they need to get away from that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that was a huge challenge. So we actually just rebranded this last October.
Okay.
So we are.
So Place inspired that when you joined Place to say it's time for a rebrand.
It did. I mean, that's the reason that I knew I wanted to do a big team. I had too much business. I had an overflow. So I was becoming super stressed out in another way, right? After I let everybody go and just kept the small team. So then that became its own stressor. So I knew I needed a larger team. I knew that I wanted a larger team because I love my agent partners, or that's like my drive, like making people successful and helping them fulfill their dreams is huge, right? But I knew it couldn't be around me, and I knew I needed a partner. And that's when I really reached out, thanks to Lucas, who introduced me to Place, really connected with Place.
We just had Lucas yesterday. We just talked to Lucas yesterday. Chad and I did.
Yep. Oh, awesome.
We're on the Kansas City train right now.
You are. Yay. It's a good train to be on after the World Cup. Yay. We did so good. So I knew I needed systems. I knew I needed the tools. I knew I needed a partner. I knew I needed to redo everything. Well, not everything, because I still had my reputation in the industry. I had my business model. So, Chad, to your point, it was scary to rebrand, honestly. My biggest regret is I didn't do it when I joined Place and did that was at that point in time, that was too scary for me then, because I was trying to learn all the Place, still trying to learn all the Place systems and models. We just have so much at our disposal, but trying to learn everything, and then rebranding was too daunting to me at that time. So I didn't do it then. So my first advice is, if you're considering joining Place as an operator and you're considering a rebrand, do it when you join.
There's a lot of moving pieces either way, but there's probably more coordinated moving pieces when you're doing it, when you're already in a transition of a nature anyway.
And I just want the audience to hear that, look, if you're calling you're not even using a name. Maybe you're just, it's just Chad Hyams and I'm selling real estate and it's just my name on the sign. There's no team to it. And even when I start to build a team, I want it to be the Chad Hyams team. That there's the opportunity for rebranding will come along if that's needed. It could be scary, yet understand you're not necessarily locked in. Now, there are some states, I will say, you have to use the name. Mm-hmm. Right? There are certain states out there where you have to have your name in it. Doesn't mean it can't become a team. Doesn't mean you can't figure out other ways to make it work. Yet understand rebranding is a possibility down the road.
What was the like it's scary. It was daunting. Like, these are like big, like specifically maybe what's something that you thought was going to be a problem that didn't end up being a problem at all, Tina? Or we talk all the time about, like, we have all these stories running in our head. This was our theme with Lucas yesterday, right? And Chad, we all wake up each day with this anxiety around certain things that we think are going to happen that never actually happen. So I'm curious, like, were there things that you were fearing that didn't actually become true, and when you actually pulled the trigger?
The biggest thing was related to my ego. I mean, I had been 26 years in this industry. I have a really good reputation in the Kansas City market. And I knew during the pandemic, when we were multiple offers, I knew that my name got our offers accepted, that it carried power, it carried weight, right? They knew we were going to be a good transaction. That was my biggest fear. And that really didn't happen.
Yeah, because the cool thing is you didn't have to change your name. You still are Tina.
You're still you.
Right. And I mean, the elevated home team, it worked because that's what we're in the process of doing with our partnership place. We're trying to elevate our service, elevate what we provide to our clients, elevate how much we provide to our clients. And, we're centered, a lot of our businesses sit around client events. And so we'd go to client events and everybody would be like, where's Tina? Where's Tina? So it's eliminated that. Since we've rebranded, that is the biggest thing that I've noticed is now it's about my agent partners and their clients that they've invited to the event. And it's about the team as a whole. It's not who's Tina and where's Tina. Because at the end of the day, who cares, right? It's about us as a collective.
And when a lead calls in, they're not looking for Tina because they made a sign call. It's much easier to have someone else on the team take the call, have the reputation of the team, not necessarily, oh, you're not Tina, I don't want to talk to you.
It's so true. It's so true. Yeah, because we'd get referrals and then they'd always want me, and that just isn't sustainable, and that's not what I was trying to build. So, rebranding is not for the week, that's for sure. I still find every single week I find a Tina team stuck somewhere in the universe, or it pops up on a form or something. So, but I would say my best advice is if you're thinking about it, just do it. And my other advice is do it at the first of the year, not in October. Our thinking was to do it in October so that by the first of the year, everything was transitioned. But what it did is it cut our volume for everyone that reported our team numbers. No one understood that we were the same team. So basically, we only got credit for what we did up until October of last year. October, November, December didn't get counted in any of the national or local numbers for awards or anything like that, which that's not what we do it for. However, it does give you credibility when you're on those leaderboards. So,
do you mind going back to it's a pretty major deal. Like you wake up one morning and you can't move. I can't imagine how terrifying that must have been. Holy cow. Were there signs for obviously you didn't heed any of the signs going into that, but with the good fortune of being able to look back, because I mean these are things that cause strokes, Tina, right? That paralyzing stress. Were there signs where maybe if you had a chance to do it over, you would have taken your foot off the pedal earlier? You would have, I don't know if taken a vacation or started yoga. Or I don't know. It's thankfully I've never had that much stress. I feel stressed plenty, but were there signs? Is there anything you would have done different? Would you tell somebody out there now that if you're feeling this, just let off the pedal?
Yeah, all the things. Yeah, there were absolutely signs. There were signs all the way. I every day could feel and hear my heartbeat in my head. My blood pressure was crazy, out of control. The fact that I didn't have a stroke is a miracle. And it was all related to me felt like I needed to control everything, right? So, and it's pretty sad because I actually really did have some great people in place that could have carried that load for me. But as the owner of the team, I just felt that everything was on me, if that makes sense. Every agent's productivity was my responsibility. Every agent's personal life was my responsibility. Every employee's, everything. I felt the pressure of everything being on me. And I was working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. When I went on vacations, I would tell the same story that I have an agent partner right now that tells the same story that, it's less stressful for me to just take my laptop and work while I'm there than to actually check out and take a vacation because that really stresses me out. Right. So I literally, to your point, Bob, I didn't take any vacations. I didn't take any breaks. I would sometimes take an hour or two on Sunday off. And that was about it. And that's just really because I needed to do laundry and pay bills and then to get back in the grind. So it was very, very unhealthy. But a big portion of that was because I didn't have the models or the systems that I needed. And that's why my place partnership has been so valuable to me and has helped me so much, is because now I don't feel like I have to recreate everything. I felt like I had to be the creator of everything, if that makes sense.
Can I stay with this for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. I think this can be really valuable to our audience that's listening, right? Yes, the tools, yes, the systems, we might even get to them. Yet this is something that no other person has been vulnerable enough to open up about and talk about. You took on the responsibility for everybody, right? And some of these people that are on the call are not running a team. Yet they're still taking on the responsibilities of their clients. They're taking on the what was it that gave you permission, that taught you finally? What's the lesson you would share that says that's not on me if Bob doesn't want to make the calls, if that person doesn't want to work it out with their partner, if that seller, the house is worth 400, but they want 600 and I'm not going to take the stress of it. I'm just going to do what I can to help them. Talk with us a little bit about that, Tina, because this is a highly stressful industry. Back when I got started, way back when, right? I always remember this. The studies actually said the second most stressful thing somebody will do in their life at that time was buy or sell real estate. Number one was brain surgery, right? I mean, it was higher than divorce stress. It was higher than bankruptcy stress. It's changed over the time. How do we let go of that responsibility that never was ours to begin with?
If I'm being quite honest, I still struggle with it today. I do. I've had a lot of therapy, so that helps.
Well, you're not laying on the floor right now. You're moving, so
right.
that's a good
I'm
sign.
moving. I've set boundaries. I've really worked on. I was for me, and I still am wired like this. That I felt the pressure of, as we all do, of our clients, of providing a great client experience. But my definition of what providing a great client experience was pretty messed up, honestly. It was about me being available all the time and me returning calls really quickly and me being fighting for them and being on their side. And so I think that the mistake that I made and still fight every day is to disconnect a little bit emotionally. I have found that that's a much healthier place to be. It makes me a much better realtor to not have that personal connection so that I understand my role. My role is to be professional. My role is to be specific. My role is to give them options. My role is not to get down in the muck with them of the emotional turmoil that they have. I'm going through a horrible resolution right now, to inspection negotiation. And if this would have been me 5 years ago, I wouldn't have slept last night. But I just every day make the decision that, you know what, I'm going to be professional today. I'm going to stick to the facts today. I'm going to de-escalate everything. I'm not going to escalate things. And for me, that's been the biggest difference is doing, I know it sounds crazy, but that emotional disconnect has really made me a better realtor because it makes me see things from a different perspective. It helps me explain things from a different perspective to my client. And before I thought that I needed to be in it with them. Does that make sense?
100% makes sense. And I hope everybody either hears that or finds this recording and goes back and listens to it again.
And it's not that, man, I think Tina.
It's not she doesn't care. She's just not the emotional.
Totally.
I care too much, right? I care to, if you, I literally care too much. And I recognize that in myself. So I have to take that step back to make myself a better realtor, a better advisor, a better everything. It makes me a better wife. It makes me a better friend. It makes me a better everything, really.
I think, Tina, Ben and Chris, are kind of fearless co-leaders here at Place, are both such amazing examples of they care. Like, we all know they care, but they very rarely get emotional in either direction. Like, they're very even keeled, and they're kind of removing themselves from the emotions of any decision. It's not they don't have them. You don't see them. They're not a party to whatever it is that we're tackling today, right? And that's not easy. Like, that's my default is, let's get them out, right? Chad knows. Okay, that's
my default. It's your default.
Yeah, totally.
I've just learned to save that for my personal life with the people that I really am deeply connected with. Because at the end of the day, I think I was projecting a deep connection within my clients and we did have that connection, but it also turned unhealthy. We would have client events and everyone would be texting me, what are you wearing? What are you doing? Because everyone in my sphere thought that we were best friends, which I treated them that way. And I set up it was very unhealthy relationship. So I had to, and when I took that step back, it really helped everything. And I wasn't expecting that. I knew it was going to help my mental health. I knew it was going to help me sleep at night, my anxiety, but I didn't expect it to make me a better realtor. And that's one thing I've definitely taken away from it, because it 100% has done that.
Tina,
I
you
mean,
mentioned the word boundaries. That's a word you mentioned. I don't want wishy-washy, right? Don't give me the, I just don't get as emotional. Give me some specific boundaries that you instituted that our audience can learn from and say, I should establish those boundaries, even though I'm a brand new agent and need every freaking deal, right? Folks, Nordstrom's is way better than Walmart, and Nordstrom's closes. They're not open 24 hours, right? You don't have to be. What are some of those boundaries, Tina, you put in place?
Yeah, no, I can absolutely share with them. They're from the real estate perspective too. So when I meet with the clients, I talk about that. We talk about, I say that, what are your communication expectations? And I say, what hours of the day are you available or not available? Sometimes they have children, right? When do you put them to bed? That kind of thing. And I listen and I write it down. And then I say, okay, here's my work hours. So I work 9 to 7. Monday through Friday. But from 9 until 11, I'm not available. That's when I do my follow up and my client care. It's really when we do our prospecting, right? We do our power up and prospecting. So anytime after 11, I'm available. And I say by appointment only on Saturday, and I take Sundays off. Now I know this is not optimal, so I'm still working on it. But what the other thing that I do is say, the reason I'm sharing this with you is because at 7 o'clock, my phone will go on silent. My phone goes on the charger. So you're welcome to text me after 7. If you have something on your mind or you have a question, you're welcome to. Just know I'm not going to see it until the morning, and I'll respond to you in the morning. That has been the most effective way for me to set boundaries with my clients, because they understand it. So they don't feel, and they don't expect a response at all. And at first I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not responding. What's going to happen? Everything's going to fall apart. And what I realized is I just don't even acknowledge it. If I got a text at 10 o'clock at night, I had one this morning, and I just said, good morning. I just don't even acknowledge it. I said, good morning. Thank you so much for reaching out. Here's the answer to that question. I can connect with you later this afternoon. I have
like, no,
availability.
sorry, I didn't get back to you last night. Right.
Nope.
Yeah. I mean,
No sorries. No sorries.
You probably in a previous life would have woken up in the morning and been like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you last night. Or, right. But yeah.
Or
like,
she would have had the phone go off at 10 o'clock and answered it.
That is Chad's. That's what I was going to say, Bob. Chad's exactly right. I would have answered that call. I would have responded to that text. I would have answered that call till midnight, 1 a.m. I would have been responsive, which is part of the unhealthiness, right? And part of the setting those boundaries. And people respond to them, and people are fine with it. And to your point, I never say sorry. And that's what I train my agent partners to do. Like, don't say sorry. Just say good morning. Thank you so much for reaching out. Like, just acknowledge that you're responding now. So.
Bob, you don't think you should get a hold of your kid's teacher at 8 o'clock at night when your kid starts to tell you about something that happened in a class, right? We don't think the bank we don't think the bank should let us in at 8 o'clock at night just because we need cash right now, or we need an answer, or we need to do something, right? We don't think that we should get into the restaurant at any time we want when they have their hours posted right there. Real estate agents don't have their hours posted anywhere. So if they aren't making it clear to their customers and clients and sphere, they're just going to assume you're Walmart or Denny's and you're always available when they want it.
The phrase that's ringing in my head is like, we teach people how to treat us.
Yes.
I don't expect anybody to reply to me after, call it 7 o'clock, except Ben Kinney. Why? Because he always replies to me at 11:30 at night. And so he's taught me, what to expect.
But to your point, that's another very important thing, is you can't break that rule. Like, there's evenings where I see the text and it's at 8:30 at night and I want to respond, but I know from experience that if I do, the minute that I respond, then I have now broken that rule, and now all bets are off the table. Now I'm available to them at any time. So I've also learned the hard way to keep that. Even though I see it, I just mark it as unread. I'll go handle it in the morning. So, because you do teach
really
people how to
smart.
treat you. Yeah.
Thank God
really
Apple
smart.
finally gave us the mark unread feature back, right? I mean, Android had it. Apple took forever to give us that one.
And scheduled texts, they're an amazing thing too. So, most people, I feel like if they're texting you at night, they're just trying to get it off their plate, right? That's what I tell my clients. I understand you're trying to get off your plate. I'm just not going to respond until, business hours. So, but if I need to get it off my plate, I just respond and schedule the text to go out the next morning at 9 a.m. So
cool. I think we went in a little bit different direction than all of us were thinking about, but I think it's a really valuable conversation because there's definitely folks out there that, have put themselves in the center of everything. And we don't want to see you wake up one morning and not be able to get out of bed. Tina, you now, we've been rebuilding the team, and I'm looking here, I'm looking in the back of your Brivity, and it's a pretty healthy balance, at least in terms of the distribution of the business being done. I'm assuming Tina's name isn't on everything. Every client's not calling in and asking for Tina anymore because we got Josh and Michelle and Chris and Sue and Maria and maybe Jackson's a little bit newer, but like we got a lot of people doing business. Like these are all very healthy businesses at the halfway point of the year that I see in here. How did that happen? Like, give me a tip or two if I'm an agent who, my name's on the business, everybody calls and talks to me. I feel like I got to be the one. Like, how have you gotten to a point where you're just as comfortable with Josh helping that person who calls in, even if they did ask for Tina, as you are helping them yourself? How do you give up a little bit of that control to some of the people in your world?
That's such a great question. And I wish I could remember who gave me this tidbit of advice. Who it was another place operator that said, or maybe it was on a call that said, don't hire anybody that you wouldn't put with your very best client. And I really took that to heart because I knew that when I was rebuilding this, I knew it couldn't be around Tina, right? I knew that. So when I was rebuilding, then I really took that to heart. And I 100% would put my very best VIP client with absolutely any of my agent partners because I know we say partners, but we all consider each other partners. We work together every day. We are business partners. So when I say I'm going to refer you to my business partner who has this great amount of experience and you're actually going to like them better than me because they're more patient, which is so true. Buyers always like others. So I'm not very patient. But I know I can refer them with confidence and I know that they're going to take great care of them and they're not going to come back to me, which is what used to happen. With my old big team, I would put clients with my agent partners and then they would come back to me. They'd call me and be like, it's not the same. We need you. We want you. I don't have that anymore. So it's through training. It's through trust. It's also another big change that I've made is I don't know if anyone can relate to this or if this is just me. I used to pour into my lowest performers, like the people on my team who were struggling or who weren't making their calls or who weren't showing up. I was consumed with figuring out how to make them successful. And I have let that go completely. Now my focus is on who is showing up, who is there every morning during our lead generation time, who's on our power ups every day, who's on the Friday partner call every week, who is followed up with all their market report viewers, who's cleared out their action items in Brivity. So those are the people that get my attention, and they're also the people that get my overflow. So and before I would focus all my attention and I would even give people to the ones that were struggling. I don't know why I did that. I just felt like I needed to help everyone. But now that's our new thing. I think it was Jacqueline that said, like I'm going to throw you the football. Like you have a choice. You can drop it or you can throw it back. And if you throw it back, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to throw it even further. And that has resonated with me so much. I even shared that with everyone, all my partners. Like, hey, we're in business together. If you throw it back, I'm here. I'm going to heave that baby back to you. But if you just drop it, then that's on you. That's your responsibility. So that's
and that might also solve the Seahawks problem this season, Bob. They just drop it.
I think both of those things, especially that last one, like are incredibly freeing from the perspective of a lot of that stress you were carrying around, right? It's like, man, I got 4 people on this team. They're not showing up. They're not doing it. Like you taking that on, man, that's a lot. I think that one thing right there, just they have the same opportunity as Josh and Michelle and Chris have, right? And and you can't become emotionally invested in their success if they're not emotionally invested. If they're not invested,
you can't want it more than they want it.
Right.
By the way,
that's what I was doing. I wanted it so badly for them that I was pouring everything I had into them, which left me with nothing. And then I had nothing to pour into the people that were really working so hard.
You're not the only. You said right before all of that, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's not just you. Like, I think there's plenty of people leading groups of folks, trying, because I assume, Tina, at that point, you like it was a sign that you were not doing something, or you could be doing more. If you could just control it to the point where they would do what you were asking them to do, but it was always on them. I
saw it as my failure. I didn't see it as them not showing up. I saw it as my failure to lead them correctly.
Yeah. I think now, and we never got to talk about it, but now that you have these models and systems in place because of your partnership with Place, you got a lot of confidence that if they do plug in, they're going to be successful. And so, like, now it's like, and if they don't, I can't worry about that. I love that.
That's literally it. I'm like, you have everything at your disposal that you need to be successful. So if you're not good plugging in or doing the things with everything that Place provides, then I'm sorry.
Yep.
I can't help you, and you're not getting leads.
This was an awesome conversation. It went a different direction, I think, than we were thinking, but I loved it. This is one of my favorites. I think anytime someone's willing to get vulnerable and help other people kind of avoid some super common pitfalls that are going to come up at some point if you're on a track to go build an awesome business in real estate. Like, thanks a lot, Tina. This was a really cool conversation. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for the
All right, you guys all have a great week. Chad, I'll see you next week. Tina, we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Everybody.
Thank you.